All right. So, welcome to Module 2. And in this lecture, this micro lecture, we're going to talk about defense against some of the threats that I discussed in the last chapter. So, what I want to do is I want to bring up the idea that you're not alone, right? You're not in a situation where you're feeling like you have nowhere to go, no one to talk to, and you're basically to the wolves. No, that's not true. As a matter of fact, the Federal Trade Commission is one of the leading federal bodies that works very hard to ensure that not only are negative activities prosecuted and malware type activities are taken in consideration and prosecuted to the full extent of the law, but it also creates a log. So you can see what was out there, what has been filed, what hasn't, been rectified as of yet, and if you need to report identity theft yourself. Now, some of the people behind the threats that you perceive from the last lecture that I spoke about are people that normally don't have any good intent in mind. People like cyber criminals, organized criminals that work for crime cartels, cyber terrorism, cyber terrorists, hackers, and for the most part, really bad people. There are situations where there are other people that are doing things like hacking systems and whatnot, not necessarily to steal your data, but to show the ineptitude and to show the weaknesses in the systems that these organizations are hosting. So, with that being said, what are some defenses against this? What are some defenses against hacking and getting your identity stolen? What are some defenses against the threats to computers and users? Well, the first one is education. And I think if you have a job or you've had a job working behind a computer, every year you're forced to take cybersecurity awareness training so that you understand what the risks are. You understand what it looks like when things are not necessarily on the up and up, when you get an email or when you get a phone call that doesn't look right. I would take that education and apply it to your personal life as well. And I'm sure that when you do that, you'll have an easier time ensuring that your livelihood is not stolen from you. The other part is don't be a victim. It's good to be cynical. I don't like the word paranoia, but it's very good to be cynical. You need to ask questions, find out more about what's happening, and stay in the know. As I said, the FTC is a wonderful place to get this information because let's be real, some media companies have their own special interests in mind. I say some because I want to be objective. I think most do. But as you already know, if you go to it, based on the FTC's information, that information is not only public knowledge, but it should not be censored. It shouldn't be information that you need to go dive for. You should be able to see and explore, things like data visualizations of scam and fraud trends across the United States of America. Here goes one right here. This is actually a really nice, and this is taking us away. We're going to Tableau right now, but it is produced by the Federal Trade Administration or the Federal Trade Commission, and you can see that this is the amount of debt collection reports that have been pushed across the United States to people's phones over time. This is great information to know. This is a nice heat map to kind of get in touch with. So you understand if you're actually speaking to a debt collector or if you're speaking to somebody who is impersonating a debt collector, trying to steal your data, trying to steal your identity. One other thing that you can implement, especially at your job, are security policies. You're not allowed to go to certain websites for sure. And I'm sure that probably irritates you when you're trying to do research and find things out. But that's for the betterment of the firm. Because there are some websites out there that they might be on the up and up, but you might not click on the right one. You might click on another one that's impersonating that. Like, if you clicked on, have you ever typed in Google wrong, google.com, but you didn't put the O, you put CM, and it just takes you to google.com, COM? Because Google has a bunch of aliases just in case you type in the wrong name, but not everybody has that. And that costs a lot of money to do. Another piece of the puzzle to ensuring that you have proper defense against threats are firewalls. No, not walls on fire. That's not what that means. A firewall is a network security protocol that denies access to specific parts of your network based on the individuals who are allowed to access it. Now, I'm using the word access on purpose because it's not an authorization thing, right? You can be authorized on your network to log into your PC, but you might not have the access, right? The right privileges to go from one PC or one thing to another. So it's very important that you understand more about your access protocols and how you can get through firewalls, not only on your network, but on your local PC and your user box as well. And there's so much more. Having a strong password, not 123321 or your date of birth or your son's date of birth or your dog's date of birth. Actually having encryption, data at rest encryption, very important. Data at rest encryption is encrypting data when it's not moving. One of the easiest ways to steal data is to read somebody's static data in their files. Ensuring that you wipe data when you don't use it anymore. Ensuring that you have physical eyes on the target so that you're not getting your physical PC stolen. And ensuring that you don't give too much information to the big tech firms through your cell phones. These are some of the big things that I want to call out because I think it's very important that you take into consideration all of these specific threats and how you yourself can mitigate them. Either way, that's all I have for you guys today. It's been fun. This is the end of Module 2 for me. If you are in my class, please read Chapter 2. It is very important, and it'll give you more context to what I'm speaking about. Otherwise, as I say in all of my classes, good luck, have fun, ciao.